Hi everyone. I got a request on how to make these dividers that I have for my A5 ring planner. So I'm going to go ahead and show how I do that in the Silhouette Studio and how I cut them out and punch them. So here we go. Once you have your Silhouette Studio open and you have your mat set up, you're going to go to the shapes over here and you're going to click on this rectangle square, make your shape. Then you're going to go over here to the right and pick this little one that has like these little rectangles on it. And you're going to pick on this one with the arrows. And the A5 size is 5.83 width. And the height is 8.27. You're going to put apply. So automatically put your divider to the size you need. And then for the tab, all I do is I go back to the shapes and I pick the rounded corner, the rectangle with the rounded corners. Make me a little square there, a rectangle. Go back over here to the right, and for the width I do 0.5. For the height I don't do anything just yet, just leave it like that for now. Press apply. Let me zoom in here real quick. You can shorten it, of course, because you know you're going to have shorter tabs. If this is fine for you, the rounded edges the way it is, then just leave it. But if you want maybe a little bit different, you can adjust these to where you want them, like that. And then all you do, I like to work usually in the gray area because it's just easier to see things for me. Okay, so once you have your divider and your tab, you're gonna bring the tab over here. And if you don't have the snap to, smart snapping enabled, just go up here to view and make sure it's on. It'll make it easier and faster to get things lined up really quickly. Then you just highlight your tab and you kind of widen it to make sure that it's overlapping into your divider. Because if you don't, when you weld everything together, the tab will kind of go inward, and that's not what you want, because it'll just, I guess you could leave it like that, but I don't. So you want it overlapping just like this. And then you're going to highlight it, go back over here to the replicate, and you can replicate it one at a time, or you can do several at a time. You just want to do 5, because 5 is what I've found works. The tabs are not too small or too big at 5. And you just make sure that, now, if these tabs, if this one at the very top had been smaller, you would highlight all of these because it would have been too short. You would highlight all of them, select them, and then you would pull it down to where it would just meet here. But this one worked out perfectly. So they're all perfectly sized and they fit right in there with the divider. So after that, you can zoom out. And what you want to do is you want to select this whole thing. And you want to replicate that 4 more times to make 5 dividers. And then I just space them out a little bit so I don't mess with any of them. You need one more. Like that. Go back up here to your first one. Look at that. And then you just want to take off 4 because you're going to do 1 at a time. Excuse me. Now, once you got your first one ready, you're going to select both. I'm going to go over here to the right where the little rectangle and circle are coming into each other. And you're going to select weld. And there you go. Your divider is perfectly made. Now, once it's like this, then you can add your graphics. So I'll just select one I had already found. This is some peaches. Really cute design. I just drag and drop. Drop that in there. You can adjust it however you want, but that's fine for now. Okay, so once that is ready, you're gonna go back up to the left on the little shapes, and you're gonna make another one of these things that look like a tab. This one is the size is, you just want to make it a little bit smaller than this. So I just do, to start off with, I just do 0.5. And then I'll fill it with white. If it's a pattern like this, I'll fill it with white. If the actual divider is going to be white or a really light color, I won't even bother doing this because my text will show it pretty well. But since this is kind of patterned, I'm going to fill it with white, and then I'm going to change the transparency in a minute. Oops. Zoom in. Okay. You just want to put this on here. Now, just want to make it a little bit smaller than you don't want to go over where you know that the end of the tab is, because then you won't be able to see it. Round it off a little bit more there. Now if you want to make sure you get it very, very perfect centered, you can make a copy of your tab before you weld it, and then you'll be able to put this in here and you can center it, and then you can just move that back over like an outline, and then just delete that off and it'll be perfectly in there. But you know, I'm not going to worry about that too much. Looks good to me. So I'll just take off the cut line here because I don't want this cut, of course. So on here, go back to the, let me take this off. You go back to the paint palette and you go down to the transparency if you're going to do it, and just change it. Oh, select it first, and you just change it. I just do like a 15 to 20. Right there is good. Okay, so now you're going to do your text. So you go to the left, click on your text tool, and what I do first is when I go to the right to select the font, I bring this 72 down to like 30. Press enter, and then it won't be so big when I start out. Just going to check this Alabama font. And I'll just put monthly for now. Oops. And then I go to the palette tool and fill it. I just fill it with black. Just make sure your transparency is back to 0. You can do any color you want. Then go up to the top and make sure the cut line is off because you don't want this cut out. Then you're going to go up here to the top where object is, and you're going to rotate it. Rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, and then you'll shrink it. If this happens to be behind, just go back up to arrange and bring to front. Now, this is kind of like where that snap into tool can get a little bit irritating. It might help you, it might not. It's up to you to take it off or leave it on. What you do to center it is you just click on the little thing right here, the shape. Click on your font and you go up here. Oh, I'm sorry. You go over here to the right and you're going to click on this little centering tool and it'll center it. Sometimes it's not always accurate because it depends on the font. Like if this line is way down here, it'll center it according to that, which messes it up and you'll have to try to do it on your own. So just do it. Just finagle it. Looks fine to me. You can make this smaller. You can make this go a little bit smaller. See how that looks. Yeah, looks pretty good there. So once that's done, I'm just gonna select all of these and group them so that if I move them around, they won't mess up how I've set them up. And this already has its cut line around it that happened when we welded it, so it's ready to go. So all you do is you bring it over here and you adjust it. You put it wherever you want. You just put it in the middle. And then your file is ready to be printed and cut. So for the rest, you're going to do exactly the same as you did for this first one, but you're going to do it on a different page or mat or whatever you call it. Just select it, cut, and create a new one. Set up your page. And I just like to work in the gray. And you press paste, and there it is. So for the next one, you're just going to take off the bottom 3 and the top one. And you're going to weld them. And you're going to fill it. And then you're going to go back over to your first one. And you're going to ungroup these real quick. And you're going to click on the font and hold Shift key and click on the little white box so that they're selected together. And you're going to copy, go back to the one you're working on and press paste. And then you'll have, and all you do to change your font, just carefully, oops, oh, one thing I hate about the silhouette is you try to get up close and it's kind of difficult sometimes. Okay, click on your font, double click so you can edit the font. I'll just put weekly. And then click on the box, click on the font, go over here to the right and center them. And then you can select them both to group. Put this here. So like I said before, if you want to make sure these are centered with each tab, just make sure you copy one of the little tabs before you weld to your divider. And then you can just use it each time that you work on your divider. Let me take this smart snapping off. And just line it up. Make sure it's even with the edge of the divider. And just move it down. Okay. Of course, this is not going to be, the same because you shaped it earlier, and by dragging this to the left, it changes it. So, but don't worry about that. And then all you do is you click on your text and tab here, shift and click on that extra tab that you just brought over. You center it, and that way this will be centered with your tab that's connected with your divider. And then just take this off. You can use it on your other ones. And just select all of this, group it, and bring it over to your page, your mat. Cut this and bring it to your new one. Go back to the very first one, bring your next one that you're going to work on, cut it, paste, and there you go. You just do exactly what you did on the last one, and you do it with this one and the next two. So once you have all your dividers print and cut out with your silhouette cutting machine, this is what they're going to look like. Looks really nice. And I just used, this cardstock is 80 pound because that's the maximum that my printer will take. If I do 100, it won't even pick it up in the feed, and I can't use it. So this is not real sturdy, but it's better than some of the ones you can buy at the store, I guess. And the quality is, it's pretty nice. I have other cardstocks that the quality for the printing is way better, but sometimes my printer won't pick them up the right way, and so the registry marks won't get put on there correctly, so it's kind of like a bummer. But anyways, so once you get your dividers cut, all you're going to do is just get your A5 punch, and everyone's different. This one is let's see if I can get that into the perfect 6 sunlit. And then this one has a little thing that you push out according to the size. My lighting is kind of bad here. This one, I have it pulled out to the A5. And you just stick it in there like that. And make sure you're all set up in the back. You just have to go by how your punches. Mine's all set up for the A5. You just put it in there and you punch. Oops. Put it in there and you punch. Mine's already punched, so. Also, I wanted to mention that if you decide to put your tabs on the top, because that can easily be done, all you do is exactly what you did here. You just do it on the top. When you go to punch, don't put your page in with your tab at the top like this, because that'll put your holes off and they won't be right to go in your planner. What you do is you just turn it like this, put it to where your tabs are on the bottom, and then you punch and it'll be perfect. So just turn it back on. Put it in. And there's my pretty tabs. They came out very nice. And it's easy as that. It's really simple. I've made these dividers, and I've made these little cute reusable checklist dashboards that I can take out and move around. If anybody's interested in how I make these, I can do a video on that, or a video on anything that I've made for my planner. Just let me know, or if there's something that I didn't cover, just leave it in the comments and I'll be happy to help.